Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday's Focus on Finances. My name is Jamie Fleming, and today we're going to talk about what are you worth? So, have you ever gotten lost inside a huge shopping mall? You take a left turn when you should have taken a right turn, and you end up in the food court instead of at Macy's, where you wanted to go. After walking around aimlessly for a few minutes, you finally find a directory and see a small label with three beautiful words that read, "You are here." Sometimes we could use that sign like that with our finances, couldn't we? All of us get a little lost from time to time. We need something to remind us where we are so we can get to where we want to go. Your net worth is one of the best ways to see where you stand financially. That number essentially says you are here, and it can help you get back on track with wealth building. So, what are you worth? Quantifying your value is an important step to reaching your potential. Have you ever calculated your net worth? What about how much your time is worth? For some reason, women tend to avoid valuing themselves based on numbers, even though they absolutely believe they have value. Why is that? Well, for starters, it could be as simple as never being taught how to calculate your worth. Another factor could be that women are so busy juggling multiple priorities, roles, and responsibilities that concentrating on self-worth falls to the wayside, like other self-care opportunities. But in this week's Focus on Finances episode, I want to help change that. This week, I'm going to teach you exactly how to not only calculate your net worth and what that is and what that number represents in real terms, but I'm also going to teach you how to calculate what your time is worth. Because when you know what your time is worth, you can make informed decisions about the things in your life that you hire other people to do versus taking on yourself. This can become one of the most freeing pieces of information. So you can finally give yourself permission to stop filling your plate with all the things. Instead, see your time as a commodity that you want to spend on only the most important areas in your life. When you understand what you're worth fully, you can then make powerful decisions in all areas of your life. This can lead to truly meaningful outcomes in your finances and how you experience your life on a day-to-day basis. So, do you know your net worth? The good news is figuring out your net worth isn't rocket science. It's a simple formula, actually. You just need to spend the time it takes getting the information you need to run the numbers. So, let's look at what your net worth is and what it isn't. Your net worth is what you own minus what you owe. Pretty simple, right? It's the total value of everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, and cash, minus your liabilities, your debts. And that's it. It's really that easy. But before we go any further, let's bust some myths and misconceptions people have about net worth. First of all, your net worth isn't just the stuff you have. You could have $1 million in cash and investments, but if you also have $1 million tied up in mortgages, credit card debt, and student loans, you're not a millionaire. You're actually broke. And second, just because someone has a high income doesn't mean they have a high net worth. Your net worth is not your income. And this is something that even very high income earners get wrong most of the time. Most of the time, they feel like they're living a very wealthy life because they have high income. But if they're not creating a net worth so that at some point their net worth can support their lifestyle versus having to earn the income, then they're not going to be very wealthy at all. There's a lie in our culture that says you have to earn a large income in order to build wealth. That's simply not true. A six-figure salary might help, but it doesn't necessarily lead to a high net worth. What's important is what you do with your salary or your business owner, your revenue. So the Ramsey Solutions research team currently completed one of the largest, most comprehensive research studies of millionaires in history. They talked to more than 10,000 millionaires. Remember, that means their net worth is at least 1 million to find out what a real millionaire looks like. What they found might actually surprise you. So here's a hint. It doesn't matter what your income is, what your career is, or what kind of degree you have. Anyone can become a millionaire over time. So let's look at how to calculate your net worth. So we're going to meet Josie. Josie's been doing her own thing for a while, but she wakes up one day and realizes she's completely lost. She has no clue where she stands financially. She decides she wants to get a better handle on her finances. The first step is to figure out where she is now. So she needs to know her net worth. And just like Josie, you can calculate net worth in 3 easy steps. All right. Step 1, add up all your assets. This is what you own. Again, your assets include the stuff you own that has monetary value attached to them. There are 2 types of assets, liquid and illiquid. A liquid asset is basically cash that's easily available to you, like money in a money market account. An illiquid asset, on the other hand, can't be converted to cash quickly. That would be something like a piece of land or a vehicle. Both types of assets are part of the net worth equation. The first step to figuring out your net worth is to make a list of what you own. Here's some things in your life that qualify as assets. You have your cash, savings, and checking accounts, retirement accounts and other investments, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, Roths, brokerage accounts. Then you have your real estate, home equity, and rental properties. Then include your vehicles, cars, trucks, and if you're lucky enough to have a boat, that would be included as well. And then the contents of your home, jewelry, art, collector's items, etc. So let's take a look at Josie's assets. And remember, this is what she owns. So her home is valued at $210,000. She has $60,000 in her 401k. Her vehicle is currently worth $15,000. Savings account has a balance of $7,000 and her checking account has a balance of $2,000. So when she adds up the value of these items, Josie learns she has $294,000 in total assets. Okay, step number 2, add up your liabilities, what you owe. Here comes the not so fun part, adding up all your liabilities. These are all the debts and outstanding payments you haven't eliminated. Hopefully all your debts equal 0. But if that's not the case, it's time to get them down on paper. Here are some of the most common forms of consumer debt: credit cards, student loans, mortgages, vehicle loans, and even medical bills. Josie's been buying up some debt over the years, and so we had to look at what she actually owes to complete the equation. So she has current credit card debt totaling about $12,000, student loan debt at $35,000, mortgage balance at $175,000. Her car loan is $10,000, and she has medical bills equaling about $1,000. That might have been a little painful for her. She listed all her liabilities, which added up to $233,000. Now Josie's ready for the final step. So step number 3, subtract your liabilities from your assets. You know the total value of your assets and how much debt you've accumulated. Now all you have to do is subtraction. Here's the formula. Total assets minus total liabilities equals your total net worth. When Josie subtracts her liabilities from her assets to get her total net worth, she sees that her current net worth is $61,000. $294,000 in assets minus $233,000 in liabilities gives her a current net worth of $61,000. So this is a really good number to look at your financial well-being. And believe it or not, I have high income earners coming in, and because of the amount of student loan debt they have, some of their net worths are in the negative. So if you do this and you're in that position, just remember, this is your starting point. This is like your before picture. If you're trying to lose weight and you start a new exercise program, you always want to look at where you are today. You want to look at reality, even if it's a little painful, and that gives us a place to start from. So 3 reasons you need to know your net worth. Let's also unpack why it's important to know what your net worth is and how you can use it to propel you towards your financial goals. So first, your net worth, as I just stated, shows you where you are now. Are you saving enough for retirement? Do you have money in your savings account to cover emergencies? What debts do you need to tackle? Your net worth can help answer these questions, and it gives you a clear picture of your current situation. You may not like where you stand, and that's okay. If you're lagging behind in your wealth building, you can still turn things around. You're never out of the game unless you quit. So don't quit. Just push forward. Stay focused. Keep your eye on the next goal in front of you and find ways to make progress every day. The second reason to know your net worth shows what needs to be fixed. Ideally, you want your debts to equal a big fat zero, right? But if you do have debt, finding your net worth focuses you to see what you're up against. You can't fix a problem you haven't identified. So to say goodbye to debt, use a system, something like the debt snowball method. List your debts from smallest to largest and tackle them as quickly as possible. Getting rid of your debt won't just free up your income, it also raises your net worth. You might need to get rid of things that you don't use or sell some stuff. Do whatever it takes to get out of debt and get your life back on track financially. If you've gotten rid of all your debt except for your mortgage, you're doing an awesome job. But don't take your foot off the gas now. Imagine how much you could invest for the future with no debt. So, of course, the next step, knowing your net worth is important, but you shouldn't stop there. The steps you take after calculating your net worth are just as important. So a financial advisor can help you make decisions so you feel more confident about your retirement and other financial goals. So that's taking a pretty extensive look at the net worth calculation. Everybody should do this. And you should also do this at least once a year so you can see your progress. If you're paying off debts and getting rid of items that you don't need and you're also investing, this is a great marker to see how well you're doing year to year. And I always remind people, keep the first one, because when you look back 10 years from now, you can see how much progress you've really made. The reason why you want to do this every year also is to make sure you're not going backwards. If you're going backwards, you need to make some serious changes. So next, we're going to talk about how to calculate your rate as a business owner. So why did you even start your venture, right? If you're like most entrepreneurs, then it's usually one of the following reasons. You wanted freedom from your routine, you're passionate about an idea and wanted to bring it to life, or you desire to make more money than you do at your day job, right? Irrespective of the source of your motivation, a vital issue for most small business owners is the scarcity of time. Work hours stretch into midnight and weekends as well as vacations. So for quicker business growth, you need to let go of working like an employee. And here's what I'm talking about, okay? Why you need to work on your business and not in your business. Most small business owners act as the sole fireman that's available at the beck and call during a business crisis. They are the first ones to enter the office and the last ones to leave because they want to lead by example. Work keeps piling up every day and new urgent tasks keep surfacing on their plate. Well, if you're stuck in such a scenario, then you're a classic example of working in your business. But there's a way to free your time and create space for your growth. Instead of micromanaging and spending time with every task, you need to find out your strengths and delegate the other responsibilities. Also give your employees the authority to make certain kinds of decisions by themselves. This falls under the motto, just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should do everything. And it's probably not the wisest use of your time. So thanks to the boom of the freelance economy, you don't even have to onboard permanent workforces. You can hire contractors for taking care of one-off business tasks like copywriting, editing, website development, graphic design, and just general marketing. So the next step is analyzing your market value. So let's look how to do this. You actually do need to calculate your hourly rate. Most small business owners either pay themselves very little or not at all. And it's unfair because as a hardworking entrepreneur, you owe yourself a reasonable compensation. After you deduct expenses for smoothly running your business and paying your employees, do you still have cash in the bank? If it's a healthy amount, that means your business is decently profitable. And depending on your business goals, you can pay yourself from this leftover cash. Assuming that your business is in great shape financially, what would be a fair wage that you would want to pay yourself? So there's all kinds of studies where you can find out what someone in your industry gets paid and look at that as a marker. The average small business owner makes an average of $68,000 per year. Now, I don't know about you, I'm in San Diego, California. So $68,000 per year is probably not going to create the lifestyle or support the lifestyle that I want and have to support my kids here. So you have to look at your area, your industry, right? So I do recommend you refer to more detailed guides to determine how much you can and should pay yourself, and then go based on that rate. So now, how can you arrive at your hourly rate? So divide your annual salary, what you think you should be paying yourself. This is your salary for 12 months to arrive at your monthly wage. So take that annual wage, divide it by 12. Suppose you decided to pay yourself a salary of $72,000, for example, then monthly it comes down to $6,000, right? So step 3, considering that you work 40 hours a week, if that's actually what you work, and you do that every week, and 4 weeks on average per month, you work 160 hours in a month. So divide your monthly salary by 160 to arrive at your hourly rate. So for example, here it would be $6,000 a month, and you would divide that by 160. Those are the number of hours in the month. That comes to $37.50 an hour. So that gives you an idea of what you're actually paying yourself. So if that number doesn't sound good, let's say you decide, oh, I think I should be charging $50 an hour, then you can reverse engineer this calculation to come up with your annual salary, what you should be paying yourself. So here's a pro tip. As a small business owner, you might actually put time outside 40 hours on your job. So to calculate a more precise hourly rate, you also need to take the following hours into account. For example, your commute, if you have a long commute, the occasional legal and administrative tasks that you perform yourself, the non-work hours outside your workplace that you technically spend working, like checking your email on your smartphone at home. If you want to calculate your true hourly rate, you want to make sure you include all the hours that you're working. So if you're an employee, you can do this exercise as well. I have a friend who's been working at a job that she does not particularly like, has considered going out into entrepreneurship, right? That's a big step. And they make a decent amount. We figured out her hourly amount based on her salary, $75 an hour. Interesting thing is that she has a 45-minute commute each way. So another hour and a half a day is spent on the road. By the time we got through doing this, she also has to work the occasional Saturday. By the time we calculated her hourly rate, instead of $75 an hour with all the extra time she puts in, she actually is only making $35 an hour. So when she thinks about leaving this job, the security of a salary, she's realizing how much she's actually getting paid, and it's not nearly as much as she thought. So you can do this to figure out, if you want to go out on your own, figure out what you need to make so that you can make those wise decisions, but you have to know what your rate is. So we want to look at, once you figure out your rate, we want to look at outsourcing, right? And so you want to outsource these 2 kinds of tasks. And it's funny because Jeff Bezos had a conversation on the Economic Club of Washington. And I love this. He said that his only job is to make 3 good decisions a day. And I thought, okay, that's putting it in perspective. And clearly he's done a few things right. He's a multimillionaire, billionaire, right? So if you want to grow your business, then spending time on your business strategy and decision-making is essential. You need to create space and time in your day for the same. A few other important tasks you need to spend time with include networking, generating leads, hiring and managing employees, and the like, right? These activities might not directly generate revenue, but build your competitive edge. Specifically, there are 2 kinds of tasks that you can consider outsourcing, and let's look at both of them now. The first one is high value, high skill roles. Keeping accounts of your business, software development, graphic design, copywriting, and banking require specialized knowledge and skills. They are risky to keep for yourself. It's best if you hire specialists that can quickly complete these high value tasks for you. Some of these would include bookkeeping and taxation help. Not only is it smart to have someone do your books, to have your books done accurately, to get expert advice on getting the most deductions is essential for a healthy business. The other area is legal advice, hiring freelance software developers, professional branding and design work. These are all high value, high skill areas that you can outsource and probably spend less money and time doing them yourself, okay? Number 2 is high value, low skill. So similar to the first group, tasks like data entry, posting on social media, email management, etc., are all tasks that need to be done, but they don't need to be done by you. So outsourcing this type of work is very affordable and easy. You can get virtual assistants on board for getting the above kinds of tasks done. You know, a few other contracting websites include Fiverr, Upwork, Craigslist, People Per Hour. So while outsourcing in both of the above cases, always consider your hourly rate. If you pay someone else less than you pay yourself, then hiring external help makes sense. It allows you time to focus on high value tasks. So going back to the example, if your rate is $50 an hour and you're doing your filing, would you pay somebody $50 to file for you? Probably not, right? This is a lower skill task that you can absolutely outsource. It's time consuming, so it's going to free up some time for you and allows you to spend more time on tasks that build your business, working on your business, driving revenue. So think about what 3 decisions can you make every single day that will help propel your business to the next financial level and allow you to pay yourself actually what you're worth. So here are some final thoughts. Most small business owners are uncomfortable with the idea of outsourcing because of the additional cost. They keep warming their desk and trying to take care of every business task by overworking. However, it's unhealthy and leads to absolute burnout. For the long-term success of your business, you need to work both smart and hard, right? But not hard physically necessarily. Smarter and harder, but in the areas that will help build your business and make it more financially viable. You need to streamline your work days and free your time from low value tasks. So I've shared how to calculate your net worth and hourly rate with examples of specific tasks that you can consider outsourcing. Now it's time to put your plan together and put it in action. But if you still have questions, please take advantage of our complimentary consultation to see how specific strategies can empower you and your financial well-being. Thanks, everybody. I will see you next week on Friday's Focus on Finances.